Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Coach Ruth. If this is your first time watching, hi, a huge welcome to you. Ask Coach Ruth is the platform where I answer questions on love, dating, relationships, and marriage. So, just in case you have a question for me, click beneath this video. There's an anonymous link there. Drop your question and I get to answer it on one of the episodes. So we have a question today and I'm just going to read it and get to answer it. So this question says, hello, Coach Ruth. Okay, so this has been happening whenever I and my fiancé have an issue while we're talking about it, stating the wrongs of what happened. And it's always a serious issue. He gets to insult me most times. He says I should get out, or am I stupid, or am I crazy? And I've told him countless times that I don't like it. If we're having issues and we're talking about it, don't insult me because I don't do that. Why would you say horrible words to me? But when I tell him, he becomes defensive, trying to justify himself. Our relationship is a long-distance relationship. He works in the UK and I school here in Nigeria. I'm just confused. Wow. Okay, first, I'm going to be very blunt. I want to categorically say that you should not marry this guy yet, because this is a huge red flag. This guy is abusive towards you, and that's a red flag. That's not love. Love is not abusive. Verbal abuse is not acceptable. Any form of abuse is not acceptable. And you say he's your fiancé, and it's been happening for a while, meaning that you have waited, he hasn't changed, and you still want to go ahead and marry him like that. Hello, marriage is not going to change him. Marriage doesn't change people. He's not going to change until he sees a reason to change, until he understands that it is not acceptable to verbally abuse someone that he claims to love. In fact, it's not acceptable to verbally abuse anybody, not to talk of someone that you claim to love. So, dear sis, do not marry this guy yet. He has a lot of work to do. So this is what you want to do. First of all, it is important that you place value on yourself, and your value, the values you place on yourself. I tell single ladies that the values you place on yourself will determine the boundaries you set. So you want to let him know. You want to go back. I know you've let him know. Now you want to do it in a way that you really mean it. First of all, a fiancé means you're engaged, if I'm correct. So you want to tell him you would have to pause this engagement or marriage, just in case you are planning a marriage already. And because you cannot marry him if he does not understand what is important to you and if he doesn't change. Matter of fact, to be honest, my first answer is don't marry this guy. I'm being very honest here. Don't marry this guy, but let's not jump into conclusions very quickly. Let's give people the opportunity to change. Some people don't know better. But the question is, if he doesn't know better, why do you think marriage will make him know better? It means that he hasn't been developing himself when it comes to marriage. Ignorance is not an excuse to marry a wrong person. Ignorance is not an excuse. There's a lot of resources out there for you to know how to treat someone that you love. In fact, the Bible is out there. The Bible says love is kind, love is patient, love bears all things. Love is not abusive. So why would you want to stay with someone who is already abusing you even before you get married to him? My first recommendation would be not to marry this person. If you will listen, I don't care if you've done engagement and the whole world knows about it, your future is more important. Would you rather be miserable in marriage, or would you rather wait and marry someone who is in alignment with your values? The first thing you should check when you are marrying someone is that you have alignment of values. So if abuse is not in your values, why do you want to marry someone who does not understand that? There's no reason. I'm trying to think of a reason to even marry this guy, because it's about the value system. If abuse is not in your values, why do you want to marry someone who abuses in their values? Because the fact that you're asking means that it is fundamental to you. If something is fundamental to you, do not let it go. Do not say, oh, I can cope or I will manage, because you won't. And it's a red flag. Any form of abuse is a red flag. So, but if you think, how do you know if you should go ahead and just break up the engagement? Give him one last chance. Give him one last chance. Let him know your boundaries. Let him know that verbal abuse is not tolerable for you. You will not accept it. You do not believe that love should be expressed in any form of abuse. If he is upset, that's a lack of emotional control, emotional management. And he needs to learn, he needs to read. There's a huge knowledge gap there. If you're angry, there are other ways to manage your anger without abusing or insulting your partner. So you want to tell him it's not acceptable to you. Now, when you set a boundary, you also have to put a consequence to it. So it's not enough that it's not acceptable to you. If it happens again and again, you have to give yourself a timeline and say that if it happens 2 more times, I am leaving this guy, I am leaving the relationship, and I am ending the relationship. Now, that is something that you will do for yourself if you really value yourself. So my first recommendation, like I said, is do not marry someone that verbally insults you. But let me be nice. Let me not be too, let me not place a verdict too quickly. Let's give him an opportunity to change. That starts with communicating your boundaries to him. Let him know you have been tolerating this and you are no longer tolerating it because it's not acceptable for you. You cannot build a marriage on abuse, on verbal abuse. So you would like that he stops. If he needs help with managing his anger, there's a lot of resources online. He can speak to a therapist and start to get help so he can work on that. And you would have a timeline for yourself. So you can tell yourself, okay, if it happens the first time, this is how you know someone is working to change. If it happens again and you tell him, you know, I talked about this. I do not accept you insulting me verbally. And if he says, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm working on it. Yes, that means he really cares and is working on it. That way you can give him some more time to get help, you know, to work on it, to become better at it. But if he flares up and starts to defend, it means that the guy is not willing to become better for you and for the relationship. And that way, I don't see a reason why you are staying with him. Yeah, I want you to listen to this over and over again so that you can really do what is good for you. You are a person of value. You should not reduce your value because you want to get married to someone. If someone's values is not in alignment with yours, there's no reason to get married to that person. So let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance to change. Communicate your boundaries in a firm way and give yourself a timeline. If it does not change, if he's not better, if he's not accepting the boundaries, if he's not even remorse, if he doesn't even think it's something that he's doing that is wrong, my dear, leave that relationship and move on. You will find someone who aligns with your values. God bless you. Ooh, yeah. So that's our question for today. I want to hear from you. Let me hear what you think in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and like, and please like so that YouTube can push this further to more people who need it. Like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.